After the Buddhist Tzu-Chi Stem Cell Center was established in 1993, beginning in 1997, its records were used to help patients in need of a transplant in China find a match. Now, nearly 2 decades later, out of the 30 countries and areas that receive donated stem cell through Tzu-Chi, China comes in at number 1 with the most completed transplants. Not only does such exchange of love help save lives, it also has a profound impact on doctors who carry out the surgeries.
我知道了，就是中国大陆，就是我第一个就发这样的。
跟你一起分享您的荣耀。
Excitedly showing off his published report on a renowned medical journal, Dr. Li Chengfu, who has been collaborating with the Tzu-Chi Stem Cells Center, wants the visiting Tzu-Chi volunteers to share his excitement.
我们也正是因为在台湾慈济的帮助下，
Thanks to the help of Taiwan Tzu-Chi Foundation, we were able to complete numerous stem cell transplants to treat thalassemia. Our success ratio has been over 90%.
得了90%以上的治愈率。
It is because of this remarkable achievement that many people come here to seek treatment.
现在只要
Anyone anywhere in the world who needs a stem cell transplant to treat thalassemia will know about a remarkable team with an incredible success ratio in China's Guangzhou.
心源移植做得这么好。
After Tzu-Chi's bone marrow registry was established in 1993, by April of 1997, donated stem cells were brought to China to help save lives. In nearly 2 decades, over 1,700 lives were saved.
当时国内呢，
China had its own hematopoietic stem cell registry, but it was smaller.
Actually, back in 1964, Dr. Lu had already completed the first bone marrow transplant in China.
Because of the Cultural Revolution, everything was put on halt for over a decade. When the second case was performed, it was already 1981.
Because of the one-child policy implemented in China at the time, any patient in need of a bone marrow transplant could only rely on a non-family donor.
At the time, the China Marrow Donor Program wasn't yet established. So besides relatives, a patient in need of a transplant must rely on the database in Taiwan.
We have quite a few cases like yours here in our hospital. If it wasn't for Tzu-Chi's bone marrow registry and its donors, your disease would be hard to cure by simply relying on chemotherapy.
I am extremely grateful to the Stem Cell Bank in Taiwan. While writing a thank you letter, I just couldn't stop crying.
As direct flights across the Taiwan Strait were not yet sanctioned, Taiwanese businessmen took on the role of special transporters.
During the SARS outbreak, a Taiwanese businessman on a flight passed on after contracting the disease. So certainly everyone else on the plane got really nervous. Thankfully, all of our volunteers were okay.
这些造血
The hematopoietic stem cells were delivered by volunteers who flew in the economy class because they wanted to save money. Can you imagine the sacrifice they made in order to help?
Years later, when cross-strait travel became a norm, staff from the hospital responsible for the transplant would then pick up the responsibility.
To most of our doctors, to go to Tzu-Chi Stem Cell Center is like going home. There is just a sense of belonging and fellowship there.
台湾拿了慈济的
With the stem cells from Tzu-Chi in Taiwan, not only me, but my nurses and doctors in charge of the patient can all rest easier, which also pass on to the patient. Tzu-Chi doesn't just hand you the stem cells and say bye-bye. I feel that it bathes you in a lot of love and passes on proper values.
In the summer of 2001, when cross-strait tension intensified, a special gift was still delivered from Taiwan to Suzhou to save the precious life of leukemia patient Chen Xia.
中华骨髓库通过这一次两岸三地的报道。
Because of the publicity brought by the story, the high-ups realized that the China Marrow Donor Program failed to perform as expected. So they decided to take this matter seriously and invested more money to build up the database.
来支持这个库的建设。
After years of collaboration, now the Chinese people have come to embrace bone marrow donation. Beginning in 2007, there were even cases of Chinese marrow donors saving the life of Taiwanese.
After so many years of carrying out stem cell transplant, on one hand, I believe this helped my team develop while saving the lives of patients. On the other hand, I have grown personally. I think this is brought about by the spirit of Tzu-Chi Stem Cell Center, which is really the selfless devotion of volunteers and so many people.